Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. Before we get to the main forecast, let's kind of take a little look at what's happened in this last week. Of course, we had the snowfall that hit the western part of the state with a couple of series of storms that moved into the central Rockies and the spillover effect into the western portions of the state, particularly the Panhandle. We've seen broad-based coverage anywhere from about 3 to 4 inches North Platte westward into the Scottsbluff area where there was consistent 5 to 7 inch snowfall totals. And that's very welcome. It's been a rather active period for the last couple of weeks, and we've even seen some significant snow accumulations in the central Rockies. In fact, at the pace we're going, it looks to be a banner snow year unless we go into an abrupt drying trend. But overall, the prospects for significant runoff from the North Platte and South Platte watersheds looks to be there right now, and that could be very welcome news for basically Seminole, Pathfinder, and Lake McConaughey's. After the last couple of years of well below normal lake levels, this would be a very welcome. Further eastward, we did see several frontal boundaries move through the state, more of nuisance snows than anything else, creating some slick conditions, but not much in the way of significant moisture. Now we're going into a little bit of a warming trend. It looks to be pretty brief, basically about a week, and then as we go into next weekend, yet another major storm may start to materialize in the central Rockies and push out into the plains. So for cattle producers, I would pay particularly close attention as we get into later next week, because this could be a very wet snow which could cause some problems during the calving season. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see how this week will progress. And as we go to the upper air models, the first thing I'll draw your attention to is a system that moved through the last 24 hours is starting to move to the east of us. In its wake, we're going to get ridging building into the region, and so we should have some fairly nice conditions this weekend. Temperatures will start to warm up across western Nebraska. It'll be a little bit cooler, closer to normal across eastern Nebraska, but as we get into Sunday, we'll start to see 50s well across the southern portion of the state, and a little system is going to zip through Sunday night and into Monday, and you can see by Monday it's going to be all the way over to Ohio. So we don't expect a lot of moisture with this system, but again, it could create a brief period of scattered sprinkles to moderate snow across the eastern part of the state, and I would expect accumulations will be less than an inch in most locations except extreme northeastern Nebraska. Now as we go into the day on Tuesday, what we are going to notice is that another system passes to our north. The warm air lies right across southern Nebraska, the colder air to the north, so there's going to be quite a divergence in temperatures across the state. And as we get into Wednesday, we will see another system moving across the northern plains. We'll have a zonal flow, so fairly nice conditions across the state under basically sunny to partly cloudy skies. As we get into Thursday, we start to see this trough taking place in the western United States, so we're going to have a good fetch of warm air ahead of it. Temperatures should be well into the 40s and 50s across a good portion of the state. And as we get into Friday, here comes this system, and it's going to bring a lot of moisture into our region with the potential for significant snowfall. So we look at the temperature forecast. We'll see the warmest temperatures this weekend, a slight cool down on Monday with that system coming through. And then as we go through the end of the week, we'll see warmer temperatures in the southeast with snow accumulations possible across the Panhandle. In terms of the 8 to 14-day forecast, we start to see the cold air rebuilding in the west, moving toward Nebraska. And in terms of precipitation, a very wet trend from next Thursday through the following Tuesday.